Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely shift how you think about your diet by leaving the whole hype of isolated superfoods in the rearview mirror. We've all seen the flashy headlines, right? The ones pushing the absolute ultimate ingredient, blueberries, kale, quinoa. And yeah, those foods are undeniably great, but we kind of fall into this trap. We start hunting for that one perfect capsule, powder, or isolated nutrient, and in doing so, we completely overlook the extraordinary power of the diversity that's naturally found in everyday whole foods.
So let's reframe this. Nutrition doesn't actually work like a scavenger hunt, where your only goal is to find one golden food that magically contains everything you need. Instead, it works way more like a musical orchestra. Think about it. A symphony isn't created by a single instrument just playing louder than all the others, right? It comes from dozens of different instruments, all contributing their own unique sounds, rhythms, and textures. And together, they create something that no single instrument could ever produce on its own.
For decades now, we've basically been taught to look at food as a simple checklist. Get vitamin C from oranges, get calcium for your bones. But that's really not the whole story. A plant food isn't just a single nutrient container. It's this incredibly complex biological structure. It's a matrix absolutely packed with fiber, starches, proteins, fats, pigments, and countless bioactive compounds. When you expand the range of plants you eat, you aren't just checking off more vitamins, you are literally radically expanding the chemical diversity of your entire diet.
Section 1. Meet the orchestra, the instruments of nutrition.
Just like a real symphony, each component of your diet has a remarkably different job to do. First up, we have the fiber section. Fiber essentially acts as the rhythm section. Here, different plants provide totally unique substrates that determine exactly what happens downstream in your digestive tract. Because here's the thing. Fiber is absolutely not just one uniform substance. It's a huge, diverse family of carbohydrates. Some dissolve in water, some don't, and some, like resistant starches, ferment and behave in entirely different ways. Because of this, different plant foods provide entirely different types of fuel for the microorganisms living in your gut.
Then we bring in the polyphenols. Plants naturally produce thousands of these amazing phytochemicals, things like flavonoids and anthocyanins. And while they aren't essential vitamins in the traditional sense, they are out there actively interacting with biological pathways involved in cell signaling, inflammation, and your metabolism. I mean, the phenolic acids in your morning cup of coffee, they are totally different from the ones in a crisp apple. The more diverse your plant intake is, the broader this chemical repertoire becomes inside your body.
The mineral and vitamin sections just remind us that eating a wide variety of plants naturally creates way more opportunities to encounter different essential nutrients, completely freeing you from needing to memorize a checklist. Citrus brings the vitamin C, leafy greens bring the folate and vitamin K, and legumes, they provide the iron and magnesium. Look, no single plant is going to supply all of them in meaningful amounts, but by eating a wide variety, you naturally distribute that nutritional load across your entire diet. You hit all the right notes without even having to overthink it. And this brilliantly illustrates what we call the food matrix, showing that the physical structure of the food itself matters just as much as the individual nutrients hidden inside it. This is a concept we completely overlook all the time. An intact whole apple is actually not biologically identical to a glass of apple juice, even though they came from the exact same fruit. So, sorry juice cleansers. The physical matrix of cells, fibers, and water completely dictates how that food is chewed, digested, and ultimately made available to your body. The instruments themselves matter just as much as the notes they play.
Section 2. The audience. Feeding your gut microbiome.
Every orchestra needs an audience, right? Well, in your body, that audience is made up of the trillions, yes, literally trillions of microorganisms living right now in your digestive tract. Your gut microbes don't just sit around idly waiting for you to swallow a probiotic pill. They actively interact with what you eat. The plant components that actually escape digestion in your small intestine, they become the exact food source for this massive microbial community farther down the line. And there's this fascinating piece of data from the American Gut Project. They found that people who ate more than 30 different types of plants a week had notable differences in their microbial diversity compared to folks eating fewer than 10. That is a massive gap in gut health potential, and it's simply driven by the sheer variety of substrates being sent down to feed that microbial audience.
Now, before you panic, 30 plants per week is not a magic number to obsess over. Think of it more as a fun, liberating challenge to just expand your repertoire. Nutrition science doesn't really have a universally agreed-upon definition of perfect microbiome diversity just yet. So please, do not turn 30 plants a week into some stressful spreadsheet exercise. Instead, use it to shift your mindset.
Just ask yourself, how many different plants can I invite to the performance this week?
Section 3. The Power of the Rainbow. Visualizing phytochemical diversity.
Let's explore how you can easily visualize this dietary diversity just by looking down at your plate. It turns out, nature has literally color-coded its nutrients for us. Eating the rainbow isn't just some catchy slogan for kids. These bright colors literally represent entirely different families of pigments and phytochemicals that interact directly with your biology. Red and purple foods deliver powerful anthocyanins. Orange and yellow foods are absolutely packed with carotenoids. Green vegetables give you chlorophyll and specialized glucosinolates. Oh, and definitely don't forget the white and beige foods. They might look a little boring, but things like garlic, oats, and mushrooms, they bring their own unique pale-colored powerhouses to your biology.
So when we look at meals, a basic bowl with brown rice and just one vegetable is a perfectly fine baseline. It's technically healthy. But when you look at a bowl loaded up with brown rice, black beans, red cabbage, carrots, spinach, tomatoes, corn, and pumpkin seeds, you are seeing a full symphony. You're getting fibers, polyphenols, plant proteins, healthy fats, and a massive variety of food structures and textures, all playing together harmoniously. It creates a much broader nutritional ensemble and a significantly better biological input.
You know, you can actually even diversify within the exact same food group, because plant diversity exists at multiple levels. Factors like seed coat color and growing conditions completely change a plant's chemical profile. This means a red lentil and a green lentil are actually not nutritionally identical, even though they're the exact same species. Crazy, right? You can diversify across plant families, colors, or even preparation methods. Think about it. You wouldn't try to improve an orchestra by hiring 5 more violinists and firing every other instrument. You want different instruments.
Section 4. Build your own symphony. 5 simple strategies.
You really don't need exotic ingredients from halfway around the world to pull this off. You can build a super diet using entirely ordinary, accessible whole foods. By following a few simple steps, you shift your focus from finding a perfect superfood to just gradually giving your favorite staple meals some new, diverse company. First, keep a variety list for a week, just to see your baseline. Second, rotate your staples, like if you always make black beans, try swapping in chickpeas. Third, use color as a visual cue. If your whole plate is beige, toss some green on there. Fourth, expand just one food at a time so you don't overwhelm yourself. And finally, think in broad categories. Just ask yourself, hey, have I had a legume today, a whole grain, a nut, or a seed?
Remember, the absolute healthiest diet is usually the one that regularly brings together a wide range of ordinary whole foods, just one single addition at a time. There's zero wrong with loving kale or blueberries. By all means, keep eating them. But simply think about what happens when you just add one more vegetable, one more fruit, legume, whole grain, or even just one more herb or spice to your usual meal. Every single addition brings another entirely unique set of compounds to the table.
So the next time you walk through the grocery store, I want to leave you with this final thought before you start filling your cart. Don't ask yourself, what is the single healthiest food I can buy? That's the old scavenger hunt mindset. Instead, look at your basket and ask, what instrument is missing from my orchestra? Find it, bring it home, and see exactly how it changes the music.